This is Inside the Game, where passion meets precision. Jonathan Turner, Nathan Wangler, and John Natale are your hosts, breaking down every goal, every controversy, every match that matters. From the heart of American soccer to the global stage. No fluff, just football. Weekdays at 9 a.m. live on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all listening platforms.
Welcome to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner, Nathan Wangler, and John Natale.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Tuesday. It is the 20th day of May, and it's just some say it's just Tuesday, but for us, things just getting rolling on here on this Tuesday morning. It's just Tuesday, but for us, it is a fun-filled day. But anyways, John Turner alongside John Natale and Nathan Wangler. It's Inside the Game, number 88. 88, episode 88. Confirmed that this morning. Either way, though, happy to have everybody around. And we're back at this here on this Tuesday morning. It's going to be a busy week in the soccer world. U.S. Open Cup back underway here today, right? I can't complain about some more U.S. Open Cup games. I'm going to tell you not to watch them and watch our games tonight, but we'll get into that. If you want to watch some games that actually have some meaning, you want to watch some games and maybe actually have people actually wanting to attend those games. Empty stadiums. I mean, okay, take that back. Our games will also have empty stadiums, but at least the players are there to play. They're going to play, right? So all kidding aside, welcome back into Inside the Game. John Natale, Nathan Wangler. How's everybody doing so far this Tuesday morning?
Everything's going well. We're right back rolling again. Sorry, Natalia. I know we're 50-50 here. I'm excited. I am excited for another busy week of soccer too. I know I got another Midwest United game coming up this week. That's been a fun league to cover so far, that USL too. I didn't realize how many different colleges and universities, and especially in the Midwest, are represented. It's a lot of some of the best of the local talent that we got. I mean, Michigan State are represented in there. We got a lot of Oakland players. I even got some guys that I've covered during the college season that are on Northern Indiana FC, so I know we're going to be playing them at some point. So I'm looking forward to that matchup and seeing those guys again. So it almost, in a lot of ways, it kind of feels like a big reunion, because I've done a lot of college soccer and now I'm seeing them represent all these different teams. So it's nice to get more and more ingrained with every passing game into the soccer sphere. But even in the other department of what I do, I mean, the Caps right now on the minor league side, they're in first place, so they're rolling. So I've never been able to be a part of a championship team. I think once it was a conference championship team. Obviously in high school, won state championships. So that was as a player. So I would love to be a part of something like that as a broadcaster. So everything right now kind of looking up from my end. So going to be a busy week, but I'm excited.
It's good. Busy for me too. I was fortunate to get on the horn with the home base last night and get 3 top quality matches. Tonight we kick things off. League for Clubs, Yuba SC versus Iron Rose FC. So that's going to be a good one. And then tomorrow, very excited about this, a team that I saw one time in the USA SA Cup that is happening up in the grand state of Michigan. And I got the Stars, and I got Livonia City. And I've been in contact with both of those teams. They're very excited about tomorrow. And we did get compliments. They liked what they saw last time we did a USA SA Cup game. And
who liked it? Michigan Stars or
Livonia?
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah, good. Love to know. I had to ask that question, so.
Okay. Craig Beebe, the president, former president, he liked it a lot. He was excited. He's been very diligent, sent me over a lot of information, so they're excited about that. And then something I'm excited about, I make my USL 2 debut on Friday, Union FC Macomb and AFC Ann Arbor. So that's going to be it's very humbling that I was able to do that. And I know it's going to be great soccer, USL 2. It's going to be my cracking the nut, as the kids say, in the USL 2 world, but very excited about that. And the only unfortunate thing is that as torrent as Mother Nature was this past Friday here in Indianapolis, she decided to be like, let me hit the brakes real quick. I forgot something back at the house. So she came back, and now she's here again. So we're dealing with that. But other than that, feel great on this Tuesday, and let's go. Let's have some fun today.
Let's go. Hey, real quick, 325 viewers right now watching on Roku TV. So we appreciate the 315 of you who are tuning in. Our Roku channel has just been blowing up here the last couple of days. And Nathan continues to just turn his camera off in the middle of broadcast as if like somehow he's not on national.
We got to point it out. Come on.
Well, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious.
Play-by-play, be like, and there's Wangler. He's going to
he's going to the bathroom. He's taking a break. We'll actually follow him with the camera.
We're going to hook up to a Go Cam.
We're going to be like Bill Maher. New rule. No one can turn off their camera. So just for 1 hour, keep your camera on. Okay. It's like, oh, look, man. Look, Nathan got red. And he got burnt. Nope, he didn't get burnt. He's just embarrassed. Oh, it's great. It's great. Well, hey, live TV at its finest, right? If everyone could do it, they would. Right? But to be fair, though, everyone could do it because their phone just got to go live on whatever platform they want to go live on, which is great. So real quick, last night we had a night off. Mondays I feel like seem to be like the day that we get to kind of just take it easy. After we do all of our production stuff, I did get a text message last night about somebody asking if we could add 10 games in on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm trying to figure those into the schedule. So last night got home, and I was pulling up to the driveway, and I was looking. I just pulled in. I happened to see my email, and one of our teams that we have a partnership with was like, "Hey, we're not gonna renew next year." And it got me thinking, right? And about and something about they weren't quite sure if there's a value in what we do. And I'll be honest with you, I can understand why teams see it from their perspective, because again, when you call me and tell me, or I call you and you tell me that you want our services or like our services, like to do what we do, and you first off don't have a budget for it, right? Which most teams don't. The process, which right now that which to be fair, last year I never in a million years would have thought a VO camera or a huddle camera or a Spidio camera would have been like a way of us getting a source into our system. Okay. But again, I told you, I come from this mindset, guys, and to the general public out there, I come from this mindset that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we receive the feed, because again, if it weren't for being on our platform, it would be on some VO play. It would be on Huddle fan page in the same environment, but with none of the bells and whistles that we provide, right? So the value right out the gate is that, okay, well, go tell your fans to go VO. They got to log in. On VO Lab, they got to log in someplace. You just can't go watch VO. You have to go log in, become a member, whatever. There's no pay. You have to pay. You just got to go log in, all right? Oh yeah, I guess I did. Thanks. Yeah, I think you're right. It's still playing. Yeah, you could have said it out live, by the way. It's fine. I mean, I couldn't hear it very well, but you could have just said it.
It's all good.
Nate was more astute on not calling anybody out for all the mishaps.
Wait a second. Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry.
He's just rolling with his point. It is a good point. Yeah, continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so I thought I turned it off. I guess I didn't. But anyways, so with that being said, if it goes into Huddle fan land or VO land, what are you getting? You're getting a screen with no score bug in a lot of cases, and you're just getting a video with nothing else going on with it. So again, the value there, right? And then ultimately, we're going to deal with this battle a lot. Well, we want to go with the local guy, the local camera company, the local company. Yeah, sure. But we still work with the local guy. So go partner with your local person. Ask them how much they're going to charge you, and tell them that we want to send the feed to us, so let's do the commentary. Perfect. We can still do that. But again, if you don't put a value in and I would argue that this coach took a lot of initiative along, and to get us information. He did. He was very, I mean, there were things that he was very good about giving to us, and there were things that he wasn't good on the other side of it. And we don't have to go into detail about that, but that's the same with all the teams that we deal with. There are some teams that are all over you about giving you stuff. And then there are teams that are like crickets. You don't hear anything. It's a varying degree. The vast majority love what we do. The vast majority love the things that we do for them. Because, again, we actually, in all fairness, make it quite simple. You know what I mean? Make it quite simple. So, that's something that I think is important. But we're gonna as we grow, we're gonna have these teams that kind of come and go, that aren't going to see the value. And we'll deal with those appropriately. It didn't ruin my dinner last night. I did go to Texas Roadhouse last night. Had myself a nice 14-ounce ribeye.
That didn't ruin your dinner. Just doing that ruined your dinner.
Just doing what ruined my dinner? What are you talking about?
Going to Texas Roadhouse. That ruined your dinner right there.
No. I mean, honestly, there used to be
good stuff, John Natali.
Within about 10 minutes of my house, there is a Outback Steakhouse. There's a Texas Roadhouse. There's a Longhorn Steakhouse. And if you go 20 minutes, there's a Logan's. Logan's used to be where the Longhorns is. It's gone. I actually preferred a Logan's over Texas.
Logan's the new Ponderosa.
My wife used to work for Outback Steakhouse back in the day, so we don't go there anymore because, I mean, to be fair, I've eaten enough Outback Steakhouse for a lifetime. So it was free. I was free, right? So, which is always great. Which is a great benefit, by the way, if you're away for your family and works in the restaurants. Free food's an added value. But yeah, last night was a Texas Roadhouse night. Got myself a nice 14-ounce ribeye, with two kickers of 6 grilled shrimp. That did not ruin my dinner.
How many rolls?
That's the question.
Well, I had one because I'm diabetic and I don't eat I had one roll. So, but yeah, I mean, it's.
But how many would you have had?
Oh, back in the day, 20. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Keep them. I mean, it's like come on. You go to Red Lobster. What are you going there for? If you're going to Red Lobster, first off, it's not the great food.
Come on,
only the biscuits.
You know how speaking of Red Lobster, I know we're getting a little shady off Tiger, but how do you explain? Maybe where it's a little different because you have more water masses around the state of Michigan. Yeah, but I always marvel. I always marvel here how many seafood places are in Indianapolis with fresh seafood. From what water source here in Indiana? I always think there's little.
Don't you have like a Lake Pontchartrain or something like that?
Well, in The Simpsons, Lake Springfield, how the fish float around with the 3 eyes and everything. That's where I figure they're getting the seafood from. They're just popping one of the eyes out and then going from there. I don't understand it because even if they fly it in from the east or west coast, it's not fresh.
Yeah.
And then Red Lobster with all the shrimp they have, where is that coming from?
Oh, it's coming from Gordon Food Service or something like, I mean,
where are they getting it from?
Frozen food aisle at Meijer. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Gordon shops the frozen food aisle at Meijer.
Anyway, we're gonna lose it all. We're gonna lose it.
No, we're not, because now they're thinking about the audience thinking about where the hell I live in Utah. Well, where the hell are we getting our fish from?
They got it fresh initially, but then so like that. Does the term change after transit? I don't know. I mean, it's still technically we didn't mass produce the fish. Like it actually came from the ocean, but
fresh-ish.
At point it was in the ocean or some water source.
At one point, yes.
I actually think every Red Lobster has their own little fish tank out back that they just grab them from.
Yeah, the exquisiteness where you can pick your own lobster at Red. I'd love to see that one. Yeah,
go pick your own perch out back. What a great idea, though. Think about it. You go pick your perch.
Pick your own seafood.
I feel bad for the kid working minimum wage though that has to dive into the tank to get whatever fish that.
Yeah, one gets caught. One gets caught in the motor.
Well, this one time for New Year's Eve, we decided to go. At the time, Meyer actually had you could get the fresh lobsters at Meyer, and because you couldn't really find them anywhere else, not here locally. Maybe there's other specialty shops that maybe had them. But anyway, I went to Meyer, grabbed a fresh lobster, right, and we brought it home. And my parents did this when I was a kid too. They brought the lobster home and let it walk on the floor for a bit. The dog was like, "Ooh, what's this?" and kind of snapped that a little bit, and then you plop it in the thing. It makes a little sound, and and half hour later you're eating this thing. It just
Murderer.
It was weird because typically the food shows up at your table. It's already done. You never saw it where it came from. No, it didn't pick it out. It was fun, and it didn't. I don't want to do that ever again. I'm not a big fan of like picking out my food. I don't want to go out to the pasture and say, hey, what cow is that? Oh, that's Jake. Okay, we'll take Jake home. I don't want to do that. I don't want to. I don't want to be in
last night.
It's like,
well, Bessie over there looks ready to go. Why don't you bring her in back?
Yeah, because at Texas Roadhouse you can actually walk up, and I think Logan's is the same way. You can walk up, look right at the thing, and you can pick your steak. So I always do it now. I walk up, I grab a ticket, and then I look at it and say, I want that one right there, and that's the one I hand him, and I hand him my server the ticket, and that's the steak I get. I get to pick my steak. It sounds bougie, but it isn't bougie at all. I think it's very cowboy-like.
Yes.
I think I should get a cowboy hat on. That sounds very cowboyish.
Texas Roadhouse and bougie, one and the same.
Hey, when I went last year, I went to Houston, Texas for I was supposed to go to Cabo in Mexico, but weather had other things in store. So our flights were canceled. We were stuck in Houston. We had to get a hotel room for the night, my buddy and I, and we were like, let's go get some authentic Texas food. Authentic Texas, and so I'm actually gonna while I'm gonna pull this picture up. I want to show you what my authentic Texas food was that I got last year.
If you even show anything like a burrito or enchilada or anything, I'm leaving.
What? Why?
Because that's not Texas.
It's not Texas.
No,
there might be something Texas related wrapped up in it. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, so I'm going to show. This is last year. Let me pull this up here. It's actually weird that I'm wearing the exact same, not the same outfit, but this is me in Texas last year.
Oh, giving the commentary before you go into Texas Roadhouse. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Everyone's got to look at the stance though. That's what really makes it here. That's the stance. Look at the hands on hips, the shades, the shorts. That is a man that is visiting from out of town if I've ever seen one.
You have just pulled the ultimate sin in traveling for me. The fact that there are Texas Road there's one in Michigan, and you go to Texas on vacation, even though you're stuck in Houston. You know how big that city is?
I want to see a tour of McDonald's next.
Dude, you should see this. It's a double stacker. The playground's up top. That's how it recognized. That's how the Texas one. Everything's bigger in Texas. These Big Macs, they talk about Big Mac. Oh my God.
The food there was better, I swear.
Because it's Texas Roadhouse in Texas. That's fair. That's fair.
No,
I'll go with it.
No.
To be fair, I mean, I think it's important to put in perspective.
If I ever take a trip to Mexico, I'm going to find a Chipotle or something. Maybe it's
Taco
Bell. There.
Yeah, just go to Taco Bell in Mexico.
To put things in perspective, because perspective is everything. That morning, we had gotten up and I'd flown from Detroit Metro. We were supposed to go land in Houston for a layover for like 15 minutes and then hop on a plane to Cabo. On the way to Houston, there was a ground stop because of lightning. So they diverted us into another city, and I forgot what city they diverted us to, where we sat in the tarmac for 2 hours, then got off the plane, and then sat in the airport for 3 more hours. They finally got us back on the plane, got us to Houston. At that point, all flights had been canceled for the rest of the day, and I was not able to book a flight until to get into Cabo until Saturday, which we were leaving on Sunday to come back home. So we went and got in a hotel room, and that hotel was 10 minutes away from the airport, and we just wanted to grab dinner. And so it was like, okay, this is right here, right? It wasn't like I was in Houston for a vacation, so this is where we're going to go. It was more like I just need to go get some food so I can go back to bed and get back up at 4:00 in the morning to get on a flight that was also canceled the next morning out of to Metro. And I finally had to rebook a flight on Spirit Airlines at 11:00 at night on a Friday out of Houston. I will never go to Houston ever again. Thank you very much. It was a debacle.
The Texas Roadhouse will miss your patronage, I'm sure.
No heartburn. No heartburn.
Great,
all right, but anyways. So what are we talking about today? Well, U.S. Open continues today. U.S. Open continues. I think there's only one game in total today. The first one, two today. New England versus Chicago, an MLS matchup. That should be a good one. San Jose versus Portland, another couple teams from the MLS playing each other. That should be a good one. As you can tell, my sarcasm is at an all-time high. Both of those games will probably be shit. Who here agrees with me on that? And with a show of hands, who believes that those games will be just shit? Like, who cares less? It's like, who cares less, right? That should be the theme of U.S. Open.
Chicago and New England. Less? Yeah, Chicago and New England. Oh God,
how many do this? There should be like an over/under on attendance. If there's not a betting on that, that should be a bet.
There is,
right? Over/under on attendance.
Vegas has got to have a line. Vegas has a line on everything.
There's those prop bets. There are those prop bets out there. I guarantee it's on there.
Yep, Vegas has something for everything.
Because you sit here and you go, okay, so here are the matchups today, right? Matchups right here. There's your New England matchup, right? 7:30 today. Right there.
There's the most intriguing one right there.
Oh yeah, right here. That one.
Right there. Most intriguing one.
Yeah, the who cares less? That's not a thing in this game.
This one, who cares more? I don't know if it worked out that way because of logistic wise, but if I had the ability, I may watch that.
Yeah, 7:30 tomorrow night. But again, who we keep talking about? Who cares less? Who cares less? It's a great question, by the way. I think it's a great way to actually the great perspective on U.S. Open Cup. Who cares less? And will that actually equate to a win or loss? I don't know. But you've got New England and Chicago tonight, San Jose, Portland. And I had to ask myself the question of okay, so who cares less?
Yeah,
and
yeah. What's interesting to me, and out of all the stuff we post on social media, all the different opinions, all the different things we talk about, and we talk about it, we cover a lot of different stuff, especially with the new guests that we've been bringing onto the show. And we cover everything from the amateur scope to how early kids are being, targeted for in terms of, being brought up in the soccer sphere and the format that we have. Everything. We touch on everything. The stuff that pops off the most, without a doubt, is always our U.S. Open Cup chat. It is always us talking about the U.S. Open Cup, and I think it's because of a level of frustration from the soccer fans themselves that it's supposed to be this prestigious cup, and even Jason Ashcraft went into this, which I thought it was interesting, and I thought it fit well because he works in the marketing side, that he wanted to talk about that specifically because we don't really put an emphasis on it. Like, this is the part of the tournament where, he mentioned it, the excitement in most knockout tournaments like this, it's going to get steadily more and more exciting as you go. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting towards the end. We're getting towards the ultimate prize. In the U.S. Open Cup, it's fascinated me because it's essentially gone the opposite direction. I feel like to start off, you have a level of excitement because you have these different clubs, you have these different orgs that punch their ticket, and they're going to, I guess, the big dance in the soccer sphere. But now that a lot of those teams aren't there anymore, now we're getting into this space where it's like, you're right. What does it really mean? What is anybody really invested into this? It's weird, but it's also a sign of where we are in terms of who's participating in it. MLS's half willingness to participate in it. Not really, though. We'll put in some teams later. We're not even going to play our best guys. It just seems like an unorganized mess. It's weird how it's actually kind of gone backwards in that way.
When you look at that Eastern Conference matchup, Chicago and New England, in the regular playoffs, that's not even a playoff game. Chicago's tied for 9th. If they lose one more point, if they lose a match or someone else goes ahead of them, that's not even a playoff game. It's 9 versus 12. So why? That's worse than an NBA play-in game. And then on the other side, it's the Timbers who have the best record of those two. They're 4th, but San Jose is tied for 9th. So, I mean, there's no intrigue even based on how they're doing now to see, oh, yeah, it's a 3 and a 4 going at each other. Oh, here's a preview of what could happen later on. It's not even a preview. You can't. Chicago and New England, MLS championship. Not going to happen.
Right.
Not even close.
And to compare it, there's a regular season matchup that's happening, that the hell is real matchup. I mean, we were talking about Cincinnati v. Columbus a lot on this show. Right. That's happening. That's a regular season matchup that I think is getting about twice as much attention from people because of, obviously, the two cities and the battle for Ohio and everything else like that.
It's called that hell is real. That's I love that billboard on 71. That's hilarious.
But that's taking center stage, and we got the U.S. Open Cup, again, quote unquote, which is supposed to be the show in American soccer, the oldest tournament, this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, we got regular season MLS matchups that are trouncing it in terms of what people actually want to watch. It doesn't. And I know we drill this point home. I get it. Like we were pretty unrelenting about what exactly it is we're trying to get across about the U.S. Open Cup, but it's true. And it's just because it's discouraging from our perspective, right? If this is supposed to be the biggest tournament in the U.S. in terms of, or the oldest, the most prestigious, it should be better. It deserves more, and I thought Michael Lathrop actually had a really good point here. It's just the clubs, they could care less. They could have chosen not to participate or found a way to use MLS Next Pro players. And so my line of thinking is, okay, so then why would they want to be involved? Is it just because of a little bit of money at the end of the line?
Isn't MLS Next Pro, aren't they in it?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe some sides are. But I think he means that MLS teams that are participating putting their development sides out there.
I mean, in positive MLS news, LA became the first MLS team to hit the $1 billion mark for his MLS team.
That's you mean like their value?
Yeah.
That's cool. Values these teams at $1 billion? Is this some
I don't know.
independent company, or do I just my company's worth $1 billion? Hey guys, just want to let you guys know, just as of yesterday,
it's according to Forbes, and I hear they're pretty reputable. I mean, they did it.
We've been monitored by autotrader.com. We're
I mean, I would think Forbes has some bead on what's going on, but I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, so I misspoke. Michael said it's the non-MLS affiliate Next Pro clubs. So I don't know. I don't believe there were any affiliated MLS Next Pro clubs that were participating in it. I could be wrong, but they had some
and they had MLS academy teams playing.
Oh, I think you meant maybe in the future. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, but maybe it's possible. Again, if you're talking about rising stars, if you're talking about players who have something to prove, right? Something to prove. Those are the players you want on a field today. You don't want the ones who are already proven themselves. They're already there, because this game means nothing. It's nothing. It's an extra game you're being asked to do. It's no different than in the preseason. Think of it like this: in the NFL preseason, how many players who are stars are playing in those games? Very little, because there's the risk. How many times have we seen a quarterback in the preseason go down because they were trying to do something they probably shouldn't do, and they're out for the season? The risk reward, it's not worth it. The $1 million. Well, you just said that LA is worth $1 billion, right? So they're over the $1 billion mark. Great. So you're going to go out there and you're going to risk your 3 best players in a game. At the end of the day, it's going to give you $1 million. You're not going to do that. There's not a team on planet Earth that would do that, and that would be across the pond as well. But the difference across the pond is that every fan across the pond wants to go watch as much soccer as they possibly can. So while we have empty stadiums here in the United States of 4,000 people with 30,000 seats that can fit into it, whatever you want to call it, All that happening, these players don't give a shit. They care across the pond because if they don't care, guess what ends up happening? They can't walk the streets safe. You know what I mean? They can't. They're going to be berated. Why didn't you give a shit? Why didn't you care? And they don't want to deal with that. So the players that play on the field in those games actually care. Here, they don't. And so for me, the U.S. Open Cup, and we can keep talking about this, and I don't want to keep talking about this, but I guess TikTok land and Shortland loves us, bullshitting about, the U.S. Open Cup. Get rid of MLS teams playing in this dumb thing. Get rid of them. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. And I'm tired of having the conversation. We're going to go watch terrible soccer tonight in empty stadiums, and no one gives a shit. And
do you know who makes that call? Do you know who make that call, though?
Well,
it's USA Soccer. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Last year, teams tried to pull out, but that's why USA Soccer said no.
Well, because the revenue. Because if you're an advertiser and you're Galazzo, you're Paramount, you don't want to see Team A whatever out of, North Dakota. You want to see Chicago.
Leave them alone.
Well, I'm just saying that you don't. Advertisers don't know who those teams are, but they can get behind Chicago because Chicago has a fan base that would see. The difference is that they're not going to the game; they're watching it on TV. So there's a difference, right? So you're going to have 30,000 people watch the game, not in the stadium, but at home or on their phone. That's what's going to happen. So they're just not there. They're not. They're committed to their team, but they're just, which is great, I guess, for TV aspects, but. No, I want to see good soccer. I want to see great soccer. I want to see players who are rising up, who want to, step up and say, this is do or die. Let's go home and go win a tournament. And that's why I either you get rid of MLS teams, get rid of them in this entire thing, or you make it over the course of a 7-day period. Just have like 7 days of straight U.S. Open Cup games.
Now, would you keep the MLS Next Pro teams in there?
Well, those kids have something to prove. So
okay.
Yeah. They have something to prove. They want that. They're not there yet. They haven't hit it yet. Now you're going to still have your prima donnas who think they're the best thing since fried rice and they're the number one player on their team who are just waiting in the wings, and that's what they're going to do. But
I have never heard that. The best thing since fried rice. I have never heard that.
Really?
I've heard sliced bread.
Sliced bread many a moon, but never fried rice. That one caught me. I'm like,
fried rice.
Wow.
Best thing since Texas Roadhouse, man.
The fried rice at Texas Roadhouse.
They don't serve fried rice at Texas Roadhouse. That's rice pilaf, my guy.
The pilaf.
Rice, the pilaf. No, I mean, I thought that was fried rice.
That's good. I thought it was a good poll. Good poll by you.
Thank you.
It's new. It's new and unique. I've never heard put the kibosh on something before I met you, JT. And now I use that all the time. He put the kibosh on it. He said no more.
Well, I can tell you I'm not going to use this the best thing since fried rice moving forward. It just kind of caught my ears. It was like, wait, whoa.
Huh.
Uncle Ben's makes a fine product, but here we go.
The U.S. Open Cup is a great thing. The cup and the idea behind the cup is a great thing. And like all great things, they have to evolve. Right? Or they die. Right? And so the idea in 1997, when the MLS came out, started, the league became a thing. And in the early 2000s, MLS teams being in this tournament was a big deal. And maybe it still is a big deal. And maybe we're all wrong. Maybe we're just wrong. I don't believe I am, but I've been told I'm wrong quite a bit, especially on TikTok land. So I'm okay with that. I'll deal with that. But the U.S. Open Cup is supposed to be this grandiose thing that is supposed to be the pinnacle of the summer, right? In the amateur environment and the professional environment where you have amateurism and professionalism coming together in a battle. It's like the Masters, to be fair, right? Because, you have a lot of amateurs who play in that Masters and they're trying to, and no one's ever won it, right? It's never happened, right? I don't think the amateurs ever won the Masters. Maybe I'm wrong, but some players have gotten to maybe in the top 10 or whatever, but you don't have a lot of amateurs because you're playing as professionals. It's already a stacked deck, right? It's already a stacked deck. And you're going to not get the best of the professional environment, but you're going to get professionals nonetheless because a professional is still a professional. But as a soccer fan, as the team who's rooting for the local guy, the local team, don't you want your team playing against the best, even if they got smoked? I mean, I don't. I know there's an argument probably for that, for and against that, but I do believe that that's what soccer wants. And I know the FA Cup.
Why is this the only league where they do that though? Where they have any? I mean, you'll never ever see the NFL grab Division I schools and have a friendly. You'll never see that. And you would have to argue that Division I is basically the minor league of the NFL. Would you agree with that? Because UFL, no. IFL, no. I would say that Division I, because that's the baby carriage of what happens in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Nate, you've seen a couple times. I've seen a couple times in baseball. A AAA team will play a major league team. Now, granted, it's not a full 9 innings, but there are times where it's an exhibition and they'll get all the guys out there 2-3 innings. They'll go at it for a little bit and do that. In the NBA, they're not going to have even a G League All-Star team play a one NBA team. That's never going to happen. So why did they let it happen here? It doesn't make any sense. And even though they're not playing the same talent, you look at the teams. There were 16 teams in this year's tournament for the Cup from MLS. 15 of them are in the round of 16. It was that one loss from Pittsburgh. It was 15 out of 16. It's a high percentage. Right. Out of 24 of the league that should maybe have challenged them a little bit, the USL Championship, 24 of them, one made it. And then everybody else was scrapped.
Right.
So what I don't understand the reasoning of, yes, you want, and JT just said it, trying to take out the big dog. How can you even remotely think about? I mean, you walk out on the pitch and as soon as you hit it, you're done. You're absolutely done. So how is that beneficial to anybody? I wouldn't want to be out there if I were the Columbus Crew MLS Next Pro 2 team and go up against the Timbers and end up getting waxed 8-0. I don't get anything from that.
Yeah.
Just so I was on the field with them? No way.
So we just got a Twitter comment from the cup.us, US Open Cup news history. Going to be nice about this since I think you were all friends with Josh. If you're going to talk about the Open Cup, wouldn't it be good to have an expert on as well to explain some of these points with a bit more context? Your points are invalid. They're just not with context.
That's a double negative, so we're right. So that person,
first of all, work on that.
If they're invalid, how can they not have content? So there you go.
Yeah, first of all, work on that part if you want to come after us. Second off, how about you go watch our previous episodes where we talk to people about exactly what we're talking about. And we've been covering the U.S. Open Cup for a little bit, and we've been talking to a lot of different people about it. But if you want to share your opinions, this is an open platform. Okay, we got comments on the right side, so I'm just saying, feel free to jump in if you want.
I'd like to know what points are invalid. That's what I like to know. But I'd like to know what parts are not invalid for the double negative to say. The
problem about getting rid of the MLS from the Open Cup is it lessens the tournament for everybody else. I'd like to know that. So if your team, whoever, we'll just say a team, let's say a local team like this new Detroit Metro in the UPSL, they go on and play in the U.S. Open Cup. Okay. So you're telling me that the local team who's playing in this tournament, who have, paid whatever entrance fee it is to get in or have been included because they've done something, you're telling me it lessens it for them? You're telling me at the end of the season, they went through a whole slew of winning round 1, round 2, round 32, 16, 8, 4, whatever. You're telling me they hoist a trophy at the end. It lessens it for them? I don't know if that's the case. Now, granted, I said this before. I said if you wanted to change the format of the U.S. Open Cup, where all the amateur teams in the country can play against professional teams, right? It could be USL Championship, USL League One. Let that become like the hub, right? And then at the end, after you've won this whole thing, you go play the MLS team, right? Go play an MLS team. I think that would be really cool. But again, I understand why MLS teams are in it. It's a money play. It has nothing to do with anything else, guys. If you think it has anything to do with anything else, you live in La La Land. It's all about money.
Yeah.
It's all money.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the MLS teams are the one bringing it in. It's not even like the MLS teams are getting the money. You think U.S. Soccer is just like doling out cash to the MLS team to do this? No, they have they're like what the U.S. Soccer is doing is they are saying, well, if this is what you got to do. You got to do this. It's part of your relationship with U.S. Soccer. You got to do this, just like they handcuff every other league in the country to follow through on their protocols. That's what it is. It's money. It's a money thing. This is all money, and maybe it's revenue from somewhere else. Maybe teams are getting some revenue, but it's not much. How much revenue are they going to be getting from this thing? There's not a lot of money to be given. So but the U.S. Open Cup, in order for it to continue, needs to have viewers. And to be fair, if you don't know who Team A is versus Team B out of North Dakota, you're not going to watch. The local fan's going to watch. How do I know this? Because I do these games as it is, and 400 people watch these games, not tens of thousands, because nobody knows who those teams are except the teams and the fan bases for those teams in those areas. So, yeah, when you see, 4-0 SC taking on, Dallas FC, you see that happening. Well, who's bringing the fan base? Dallas is. Right? And so that game's going to get 25,000 views because Dallas FC is playing 4-0. And now 4-0 has a good fan base as well, but not nearly the same fan base as Dallas. So what's going to happen? That's why they do this. Yeah. It's not no other reason.
Right.
And so, again, if we want to, I don't need someone to come on here from U.S. Open to tell me, an expert to come on here to tell me how U.S. Open Cup works.
Right. To give some sort of pretty answer.
What am I missing here?
Some sort of roundabout. Yeah.
What am I missing here? It's a tournament in which you start off at the very low levels in this country, Midwest Premier League. Some teams playing like the NPSL and maybe even smaller leagues than that. And they're playing against the same teams they would play in their league to start off with. They win that game. They go on to the next round. Oh, my God. Then they play in the USL Championship team. They get smoked.
Right.
I mean, explain to me what I'm missing here.
You don't need an expert to come on to tell us that teams don't care. Okay. we believe me, we watch it. We have eyeballs. We understand what we're watching. We don't need an expert to come on and tell us this, that, or the other thing. It's right in front of us.
But to be fair,
and the other thing, yeah.
Anyways. But to be fair, if you want to come on.
Oh, by all means.
I love it. Come on in. Well, I'll happily invite you into the podcast. We'll talk about this. You can tell me why I'm wrong. And it's fine. I can take it. I'm a big boy. I'm wrong a lot. My wife will tell you I'm wrong a lot.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm always wrong. Way back, boy.
I'm always wrong.
Way back. That's hilarious. Good reference there.
But the tally, It's also interesting because you dropped in, you're talking about all the other different leagues. My comparison, I think about, at least I'll bring up maybe the basketball realm. I love my guys that I do college games for. Cornerstone University, good program, man. They've won 3 national championships. They've always been in the mix. Nearly beat a Division I school in Central Michigan. Have never been scheduled to have a tune-up game since because schools just don't want to mess with it because they know what it would mean. But it's almost as if, imagine they were in some sort of big tournament, and they won a couple of games against some good teams. And then college basketball went, okay, well, now we're going to sprinkle in North Carolina. Now we're going to sprinkle in some of these Division I schools. And then it's like no one has a chance. No one has a chance anymore. And it just kind of takes away from, why aren't those teams involved from the very beginning? Why aren't they in this from the very beginning? If they want to be in, they should be all in. If they want to be out, they should be all out. This half in, half out thing is exactly what we're talking about here today. That's exactly what it is. And I agree with you, JT. It's all about the money.
You know what I think? What honestly the U.S. Open Cup takes away from is something that is fantastic. The CONCACAF tournament. We've got the final coming up in, I think if it's not June 1st, I think, or sometime at the beginning of June or end of May or something like that. And it's taken away from that. Well, if I get the point, don't mess it up.
Talk about the business side more is much more free for pod.
Dude, reading out loud is great.
Oh, so he doesn't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They got to send the other goon of the mob into it.
Double negative. You get the point.
I don't want to call. I mean,
More than one of us
you
now.
know, all kidding aside, we love to have conversations with people who don't always agree with us. I'm open to that conversation. And again, so to be fair, Nathan and Nathan does all of our social media shorts for us, along with Victoria Quay out in California. And you know, what do you do in Shortland? You clip out things that you think will do well. And sometimes those are 15-second clips of a 1-hour show. And so if you want full context and the full aspect of what we do, maybe you should go watch the whole show and then comment about the whole show, not a 15-second clip. Yes, I know it's called clickbait, but the whole world does it. So do we.
Everybody does.
We do it to do exactly what we did there. We got you.
It's called engagement farming, my friend. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Appreciate your services. Come back tomorrow. We'll be back.
9 a.m. One table for one.
Like, it's like.
But did you guys hear my point?
I mean,
did you hear my point about the CONCACAF though? Like, isn't that a much more? Don't you think that teams put much more of an effort into there, because there are MLS teams who were relegated to that? Who, I mean, the semifinal match between Inter and LA, that was a great match, and Inter got knocked off by Vancouver, and now they're playing in the final versus Azul, and that's like a whole Mexico or Southern America, Canada,
it's
U.S.
It's by the way way different. I mean,
no, because it's better soccer.
Well, it's better soccer, but to be fair, if you're an MLS team and you're like, I gotta fly into Detroit to play Detroit City, who's in the USL Championship, you know.
But that's my point. Don't you think that those teams, MLS teams, are putting more of an effort into the CONCACAF?
Oh, yeah, because you're playing against what you consider to be equals.
Yes,
that
was my point. That's the only thing I was trying to make.
Yeah, I don't think
that's my only invalid take right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive that home.
I know you are. I know.
I know what you meant. You know what I meant.
I couldn't even read that second sentence, so you know
it's okay. But here's the thing, right? I think that the MLS side, and again, it's probably more out of a, you know, it's probably more of this trait that we as Americans kind of carry, where it's like, you know, there's like a Gucci bag and then there's like a knockoff bag. And that's what that is, right? You got like,
Timu.
It's at the the USL Championship, like the knockoff bag of professional soccer to the MLS guys. And they're like, okay, well, yeah, we want to. And I'm not trying to say that that's how we should look at it, but I'm saying that there's like this beneath you thing. I got to fly into Detroit tonight to go play against the USL champion Detroit City FC.
There are layers to this.
They have a stadium of 8,000. We have a stadium of 24,000. Like, what is that?
That makes me laugh. The USL champion's the knockoff bag.
Well, I don't.
Oh my gosh!
It's a great comparison, though, is it not? Though I mean, the way you look at it, it's the case. I mean, if you're an MLS player and you've worked your ass off to get to the MLS, do you really want to go playing against USL Championship teams?
No, you're right. So, all right. So, I don't even think we've ever, as much as we talked about this. What do you think should be the highest? Do you think it should be everybody chasing the USL Championship teams
in the US Open Cup?
Yeah,
I just think I just think soccer players need to get out of their own way, and I think that they just need to start playing soccer like all the time, like play it like it means something. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's how I don't care who's on the field. I don't care if it's Lionel Messi or Sam Smith. Doesn't matter to me. When you're out there, you're out there. You play.
But if they do that, what's the point of having those other teams? Because if that were the case and MLS put their best out there and played a legit 90 minutes of the soccer they know how to play, what chance does anybody else even have? They don't.
I also think they put more on the line. I think more has to be on the line. I think that there has to be more at stake than just winning $1 million.
True. But then it goes back to the MLS. Like, if the MLS, who I don't know what their player salaries are, but if they get the incentive
higher than that of USL Championship,
I mean,
that's the other side. Like, the valuation of the actual prize at the end of the line, that doesn't really change the bottom line for a lot of these MLS squads. These owners are doing just fine. They don't need the money in the MLS. They do not need the money. So why would they be in it for the money. Why? Who does that affect the bottom line for? Is it the MLS team or is it the team out of the USL? Answer me that.
There's your 15-second media clip right there. Cut that one out.
I'm serious.
My man got
Answer
hot.
me that.
It's a great point. You got to clip that one, Nate. You got to clip that one. That was good. He was giving the look down on that.
There's so many different ways. I mean, I know, and this is why I think people get all like bent out of shape about promotion relegation, because in promotion relegation land, there's more at stake, right? There's a lot more to lose.
Yeah.
There's a lot to gain, but there's a lot more to lose. And so to be fair, if the U.S. Open Cup changed its format in a way in which the team that loses or that doesn't give a shit, like if there's like this thing that can happen, which is, and I'm not sure what that is, then that would, I think, would change. I think how this plays out, because it's not just because the money thing is not an incentive. It's not an incentive enough at all. And to the player who's going out there and already getting paid a salary, and again, the risk reward. If I'm the head coach of Chicago and New England tonight, I'm putting out 4 of my best players who are defenders, and there maybe a striker in there, and they're going to play for about 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna or a half, and then they're going to be out. Right,
putting out the best defender.
Well, every team is doing that. Every team, if you look at this, their back line is the same. And why is that? Because the back line is the most important piece of any puzzle in soccer, is a connected, cohesive, in sync backline. Period. End of discussion. End of discussion.
Didn't sound that way yesterday, did it?
Well, you asked me about one player. You didn't ask me about four defenders.
Yeah, here we go.
One great defender does not help me. I need 4 of them. Right? I'm a coach. Okay, I'll take the best player.
Right, so now you already had the best keeper. We learned that, so
That's true. That's right. I'm playing. I'm a keeper coach. I'm playing.
He's
I'm
building
both.
a fantasy team over here.
That's right.
Ask him one question, and he's putting together his fantasy team.
I am on. I want them both. I want both, the best player on the offense, the best player on the defense. That's what I want. Thank you very much. Hey, all kidding aside, the U.S. Open Cup again is a great thing. And we're not knocking the U.S. Open Cup. We're not knocking it. We're knocking it with the way in which the teams themselves and how serious they take it or they don't take it. And we know that the team who's playing like Chicago House or these teams in the UPSL, they take it seriously. And they take it seriously because that's like their World Cup. This is like they are fighting for a chance for another day. And the more that they could win, the greater things can happen to their club. And on the flip side of that, you've got a team that comes in that's like, it's another game for us on a Tuesday. It's just a Tuesday game. It's a Tuesday. Normally, normally at home, I'm playing some FIFA. I'm kicking back on a Tuesday night after training. I'm a little, pissed off because I got to play a game on a Tuesday when I normally wouldn't play a game on a Tuesday. That's the difference. And tonight, we have one. Tomorrow we have one team in Pittsburgh Riverhounds who, again, I would say that they probably care more than the Philadelphia Union, not probably by much. I would argue that USL Championship Pittsburgh Riverhounds will not also field their best team because, again, they are fighting for a USL Championship playoff spot, and you don't want to risk all of it in a one-game elimination game. You're going to put your players out there, and you're going to see how it goes, and if you have to make adjustments, you will, but you're not going to carry your full team. You're just not. And doesn't that bother people? Doesn't that bother the fan? Doesn't it bother the fan that you're going to go to a game and 33% of the team is not playing? 30% of the team is playing, and 30% you've never heard of before.
Let me ask you both this question, though. So you look at Pittsburgh's season right now. Still a long way to go because we haven't even hit June yet. But they're in that A spot. They're 1 point ahead of Indy 11, who's not playing that well. And do you think this is something to where you're mentioning Pittsburgh not putting their best 11 on the pitch? Do you think that maybe this is like, well, we could very well not make even the playoffs in the USL Championship. So let's see if possibly we could put our best on there and see maybe we do get one. Maybe we can make a run because we know that the other ones, your Chicago's, your San Jose's, your Portland's, New England, everybody else, that they're not. So do you try to say, well, maybe we can get a kick in our ass in the season and win this thing if we put our best 11 out there? Does that rectify anything for them, or is it still, we're eighth, we probably won't make the playoffs, but maybe we don't, so we have that shot. We have a better chance of making the playoffs with our best 11 than we do if 3 guys get hurt trying to win the Open Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I can't foreshadow how a coach is going to coach.
What would you do?
I would do what I said.
Put the best 4 defenders in the world back there with the keeper. Just bring them over.
I would have my my back line, barring anyone being hurt or hobbled. And
what would you do, Nate? How do you look at that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all depends. I don't know, JT, where were you going with that? I mean, what's your mentality on that whole thing?
Well, my mentality is that I'm, at the end of the day, winning. You're when you go into your season, just like in the NFL, right?
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it from
right.
the perspective of when you're going into your season, you are vying to win your conference and get a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Right. And if you win your conference, you might even get a first round bye.
Yeah.
Here, you are fighting for being in the top 8.
It's like,
right?
yeah, it's like an in-season tournament. I mean, that's I mean, to kind of piggyback off that, because I wanted to hear you say it again, because I kind of agree with the sentiment of where you're going, but just to add on top of that, right? It's like an in-season tournament in a lot of ways. And the truth is if your best players, let's say maybe they were, nursing a hamstring or something else, or maybe they're not feeling 100%. Winning an in-season tournament or winning something like that, yeah, I mean, it would get your club a lot of publicity, but you're right. What are the chances of you actually winning the thing? Not great. Now, does that mean you pack it in and you don't try? No. I mean, competitors compete, right? And there's no way you play at that level without wanting to go out and compete. And even if you get the chance to go up against an MLS side, I mean, it's like, from my perspective, like, yeah, you would go out and you would want to play, but there's that balance, because you're right. The entire point is to go win the championship in your league. That's what you've been competing for. That's what you've been training for. So it would be very disingenuous to put players out there that you're kind of on the borderline of, he's dealing with this or he's dealing with that, or there's a good chance he could get seriously injured in this game. And now all of a sudden we put ourselves in the hole. Not only are we not winning the U.S. Open Cup, but now we're at a very, very much of a disadvantage going into our league championship game. So, in no one in the basketball world, like we don't all sell out to watch the in-season tournament. No one cares. Everybody wants to go see him win an NBA championship, right? So, to me, it distracts and it takes away from what the clubs are actually trying to accomplish.
But don't you think, Nate, that the format of that tournament works because it's an actual regular season game? They just made it into a tournament. However, let's say at the end of the year when there's, you're fighting for the first or second seed or 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. And that one game that happened in the tournament where you're like, oh, well, we don't care. And you send out, the Dollar Tree general assistant general managers to play, and you don't win, but that's still regular season game. So that could correlate to your seeding for the playoffs.
It makes a direct impact. There's nothing about the Open Cup that makes a direct impact at all.
Yes.
And what exactly it is that they're trying to accomplish. And herein lies the issue. Herein lies the problem, guys. Right? And if it's money at the end of the line, like I've had multiple conversations about this. Steve Herdsman, great guy, coaches at Midwest United. He used to play for the Columbus Crew back in the early 2000s. He's actually the head coach at Cornerstone right now. But I think 2003 he was on the team. He's actually in FIFA. I think he has a speed rating of like 95 or something nuts. But anyways, but he's actually talked about this, and he's like, no, these MLS owners are doing just fine. They're all doing great. So this belief that, okay, well, there's some sort of incentive with the money at the end of the line for them. No, there ain't. So what are we doing with this tournament that, again, in a lot of ways, more ways than not, just simply distracts from what these teams are trying to accomplish, whether that be on the MLS side or the USL side. And that's what it does. So that's where it's frustrating. And to circle back on what you were talking about, JT, this is not us just hating. Like, I believe me, I know there are a lot of people in this sphere that just like to just hate on everything, and that's how they kind of make their money. We're not just hating just for the sake of hating. Like, I'm not just like getting angry just for the sake of getting more people to watch our stuff. Like, yeah, obviously I'm going to put out engaging 15-second clips because more people are going to watch it, which means more people are going to watch our show. Like, it's nuts how that works. That's crazy. But
do that one too. Put that one on there too.
Yeah. Like, whoa, who would have thought?
Hand gestures.
Right? Yeah, but we're not trying to tear anybody down here. We're just frustrated because we're told a certain thing about what this tournament is, and then when you actually watch it, it's nowhere close.
At the end of the day, the three of us are soccer fans, and we just want to see good quality soccer, and we don't get that with the Open Cup, plain and simple.
100% the case. And if anyone ever wants to come on the show and talk about this, we'd love to have you.
Please do.
I mean, and again, if you don't agree, first off, to be fair, I don't know what you don't agree with, because if you're telling me we're getting the best soccer in this tournament, then you don't know soccer. You don't know soccer. All right. For someone that's been involved in soccer,
they have a U.S. Open Cup handle. Of course they know it.
But for someone who's been playing soccer and watching soccer since I was 5 years old and been involved in it, not only from the refereeing standpoint, the playing standpoint, the coaching standpoint, and the broadcasting standpoint and production standpoint, I can tell you this right now with 100% of the fiber of my being that we are not getting the best soccer in this U.S. Open Cup. And if you want to come on here and debate me about that, I will sit here all day long. I will listen very well. I'm not a very good listener, but I will listen. I will listen, and then I will tell you that you are wrong. Because you're not right. You're not right. You can talk about the format of the
first step is acknowledging, JT. At least you acknowledge you're not a very good listener.
So that to the U.S. Open Cup person, tell your cohort that the business part, I guess it was the business partners or something, the one who wasn't on the chat.
But that's just a nice way of saying I don't.
They've got to go down the rankings. They were the social media person. Now they got to go to corporate and say, "Hey, would you like to come on?" And
just a nice way of saying I don't like to talk on the podcasts. That's just
are we making ops, dude? We're making ops already. We're not even to episode 100, and we got people we got people watching us like Stephen A. Smith every day. They're like, that guy. I can't stand that guy just waving his arms around and stuff.
I wonder who, I wonder who our persona is coming to be. Like, who's the Stephen A. Smith of our group? Who's the Skip Bayless?
You're the cowherd. I'm the
who's
Stephen
the Mad Dog? Who's coward? Who's
JT's just JT, man. I mean,
yeah. I again, if you want to clip out a 13-second, whatever you want to call short video of what we do, and you want to use that as your anchor to your position, then by all means do that. Go ahead. Fine. Whatever. Again, we can handle it. We're not saying anything that shouldn't be talked about. We're not saying anything that seems to be off. I mean, to be fair, this is a conversation that should be had across the country in all aspects of soccer, and not just in regards to the U.S. Open Cup, but on all aspects of the game. And again, the question that we asked is, should the U.S. Open Cup and MLS teams be involved in it? And okay, sure. The answer has been yes. Why? Because of money, revenue. And if you think it's for any other reason, again, you live in a la la land. You live in la la land because there's no other reason. Because the MLS teams themselves have said they don't want to play. We don't want to do it. Why don't they want to do it? Maybe that should be the question. Why don't they? We got to get an MLS team on the ownership group on this show to tell us why they don't want to play in the U.S. Open Cup. That's what we should do. And then we'll know. Right? I mean, why don't you want to be in it? Not why do you want to be it? Why won't you? Why don't you want to be in it? I think that's a good question, because if you ask the team at USL2, USL, Midwest Premier League, why they want to be in it, I know why they want to be in it. Right? We know why they want to be in it. Oh my God, the U.S. Open Cup. Like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, we can play against professional teams. We know why does the professional team want to be in it? No, why don't they want to be in it?
I've got something coming for you.
Are you
We're gonna make that conversation happen.
We need to ask that question. Why don't you?
It's coming. It's coming. And it's coming from a team that is currently in the round of 16.
Perfect.
Who's playing tonight?
Yeah, we need to ask that question because that
and who has the most U.S. Open Cup championships? It's coming from that franchise.
Nice.
Speaking it into existence. I like it.
There we go. Because I'm telling you that right there answers the question, and then it puts the whatever comment we saw in Twitter land or X or whatever you want to call it, it puts it into perspective. Because again, historically, what are you going to tell me that I don't already know? What are you going to tell me? I mean, the cards are stacked against the amateur team of winning this thing. Why? Because they don't have the talent or the resources or the revenue to be able to pull off that magnitude of a thing to beat a professional team in the MLS, right?
I'll wrap
and
up
the MLS and the MLS side of that is that, to be fair, they don't have to try that hard to beat teams that are below them. They're the best teams in the world, in the country. They have the best players. So it's like, again, we talked about this. It's like saying, if the Detroit at the time, who was the worst team in the NFL last year? Was it the Jaguars? Who was the worst team?
Giants, so. Jaguars, and/or Browns.
Yep. The Giants went and played the best team who won the national championship in college, which was
Ohio State.
I don't even want to say it.
Ohio State. So,
yeah.
Ohio State would get rolled on by New York Jets. We all agree on that, right?
Giants. Rolled. Anyway, any NFL team would smoke Ohio State by 5 touchdowns.
Okay, yeah. So again, perspective. And it's not because Ohio State didn't have very, very good athletes.
They had the best
NFL
athletes in college.
Yeah.
Yes.
So perspective. Of course, MLS teams should just roll up on anyone who's below them. Why? Because they are better. And will there be a time when that doesn't happen? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Right. But to think it would happen now is you're right. It is La La Land. Like you're not touching an MLS side. Maybe some, but not. Yeah.
But we love all the comments. We love your support, good or bad. I'll take it both. I mean, again, good news is bad news. Bad news is good news. It's all the same. It's all news. It's all good for us. We'll take all of it. And we appreciate you tuning in wherever you're watching near and far, because again,
happened yesterday, Nate.
Oh my God.
You got to figure that out, JT.
What happened?
Oh, you're good now. You're good.
You're good now.
Go.
What happened?
This is the second time you've fallen in the water jug.
That's weird. I don't know why. Maybe it's something to do with the music. I don't know. Anyways, we love that people want to have opinions. Hey, come on and share them with us. I happily will send you a link. It's really easy to hop in here, and we can all get into a nice little pissing match live on the air. Great. I think it'd be great. And again, so we appreciate the support wherever you're watching near and far. Episode 88 is in the books. John Natale, Nathan Wenger. I'm Jonathan Turner. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place, right here on Inside the Game.